Hey everybody, it's Moonhorse again. Coming in just before this video with a little bit of information. We're talking about the University of Utah healthcare program. A friend of mine is not doing well and needs you guys, if you can, to look into this program, donate if you can, help out if you can. They're looking for, donations, people who can do live kidney transplants, the whole thing. This is a very good cause, and it's very, very important. So if you guys have anything you can do to help, or any way that you can help at all, please do. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to everybody. It's not just me, it's about everybody. Everybody's in this together, so we should all put together to actually do something. Like, if you're interested, or you have any way that you can possibly get in touch with this, or if you're in the area and you can do something to help out, you can contact them at uofulivingdonor.org. Or you can contact them at the phone number 801-587-8816. If you're interested in helping my friend specifically, when you get through to somebody or you're talking to somebody, ask for Corinne C. Powell. That's who needs the help right now. It's this person who asked me to kind of help out, not just for her, but for everybody. So if you want to help out, you want to contribute to a good cause, you want to do something good, really help these people out. They could use it. Alright, so now on with the show. Hello and welcome to this interesting story. This was actually something my friend Bubs found, and I'm going to read it. This is The Tale of Winnie the Shit. Written by Seth Dark. Cool. Now, not many people know this, but Winnie the Pooh had an evil twin brother, Winnie the Shit. Winnie the Shit looked very much like his brother, but with one major difference. He is evil. As our story starts, Pooh Bear has been killed by the shit, and he has replaced him. But the story of how he was killed is a very long and drawn-out and complicated one, so I'll save it for another day. And so our story begins. Everything was rather quiet in the 100-acre wood. The trees whispered to each other as the wind rustled their leaves. Under a large oak tree there lived Pooh Bear. From inside Pooh's house there came a steady bang, bang, bang that was making his honey jars rattle on the sideboard. The light came through the window, and the evening sun. Pooh raised the axe once more and brought it down on the tattered remains of Christopher Robin. "Why won't he fit?" puffed Pooh to himself as the axe came down once more. There was a small pile of earth and a hole next to it, which Pooh had hidden with his favorite rug. Christopher Robin, selfish prat that he was, didn't quite fit in the hole that he had dug, so instead of making it wider, he decided to just hack him up. Far more sensible idea, thought Pooh, and hummed a little song to himself as he cut the last tendon and rammed the rest of the body into the hole, finally covering it up with the rug. Always too bossy, thought Pooh. Always too bossy, always grabbing me by the paw and saying, "Come, Pooh, let's have an adventure," or "Pooh, you're so silly," and that affected, cutesy, spoiled brat voice, and his stupid little shorts. Bastard! Pooh had waited all afternoon for Christopher Robin to come round, humming a little tuneless song to himself while gazing blankly into the fire and fondling the oaken handle of the axe. When Christopher Robin had turned up, squeaking in his child actor voice, "Come on, Pooh, open up!" Pooh opened the door as normal as anything, and talked about the weather, and then went to the cupboard to fetch the axe. While Christopher Robin sat there prattling on about what a silly old bear he was, and how he had very little brain, which wound Pooh up to no end, Pooh raised the axe high, and brought it down with a satisfying thud on Christopher Robin's skull, cleaving it virtually in two, with just some muscle fiber in place to keep the pieces upright, and freezing his eyes wide in horror that Pooh, oh lovable Pooh, could do such a thing. Pooh giggled a little and wiped some saliva from his mouth with a shaky paw. Then, calm as anything, had mopped up the blood, washed the axe, and began to dig the hole. Dig the hole, sorry. Piglet had wondered by why Pooh had not called him that morning to have his tea and biscuits, so he decided to pay him a visit instead. He admired the evening sun and listened to the birds singing. Pooh watched him get nearer and nearer and plugged in the drill. God! Piglet had no time to realize what happened. The drill pierced his skull, sending a beautiful fountain of blood all over Pooh's orange hide. He rubbed the blood in and all over himself. Licking, licking, always licking. Then he pulled Piglet inside and put him in the cupboard. The syringe lay on the sideboard. Pooh picked it up, all shaking and sweating, and filled it full of solution, the funny white powder that had been given to him by a strangely spaced-out rabbit. It was a strange effect at first, and Pooh thought he had seen many strange things, but experienced a euphoric feeling of power. It made him irritable. Christopher Robin and Piglet had everything that was coming to them, no doubt about that. When night had fallen, he dragged the bodies out and burned them in a makeshift grave. Adios, dear friends. Oh, bother. Things are going to change in the 100-Acre Wood now. I'm in charge. I'm trying to do a terrible Winnie the Pooh impression. He laughed hysterically and went indoors. The next day, Tigger and Roo made their way happy to Pooh's house to see if he knew where Christopher Robin and Piglet were, as no one had seen them since yesterday, and they were sure Pooh would know, as he had tea with Piglet yesterday. I was meant to be playing Pooh Sticks? I don't even want to know how you play that game. With Christopher Robin in the morning. When they reached his house, the door was open, and he was nowhere to be seen. Tigger and Roo looked in the house and noticed a large hole in Pooh's floor, and a notice that was stuck on the wall with a large blob of congealing honey. What? Out shagging the dragon. Out chasing the dragon. Pooh's on heroin. Spelling had never been one of his strong points. That's odd, thought Tigger. There are no dragons in the 100-Acre Wood, only heffalumps. What is that silly bear up to now? Not even Tigger would have imagined what Pooh was up to at the moment. That morning, he had woken with a splitting headache and a rather snotty nose. She had taken a large dose of the white powder. With a little while later, he had a brilliant idea. He left the house with a container marked insecticide in big red letters, and he took the container and went to Eeyore's favorite patch of thistles. This'll serve that manic depressive donkey right. Always cheating at Pooh Sticks. I don't know what that is, but it's still funny. Cheaters never prosper, Pooh said to himself, and he hid behind a tree to watch the unsuspecting Eeyore eat himself to death. Sheer poetic justice, thought Pooh, as he dumped the nearly dead body of Eeyore in the same grave as Christopher Robin and Piglet. Shouldn't cheat, should you? Shouted Pooh, as Eeyore's eyes stared with disbelief. You're lucky I didn't chop you up into little bits and feed you to Tigger. He laughed maniacally before covering the makeshift grave over. He didn't return to the house until dinner, as he was totally spaced out all morning. So when he returned to the house, he was in an awful mood, and he needed to make some absolutely And all he needed to make him absolutely mad was the sight of Tigger and Roo bouncing up and down outside of his house, singing, "Bouncy, bouncy, fun, fun, fun." The wonderful, thought Pooh. My foot, you'd think the writer of this shitty story could come up with better lyrics for a song than that. And to think they released the soundtrack on album and CDs and cassettes. A lot of people are going to get ripped off. Pooh's gone meta. This lightened his mood somewhat, but the respite was brief. "What was that you said?" asked Roo. God, does he never stop asking questions? Pooh thought furiously. We're going to have to deal with these prats as well. Is there no one in this place with intelligence apart from me? Apart from me? He asked despairingly. Pooh felt himself extremely lucky as Roo had gone home for the afternoon to sleep, and that left Tigger at his mercy. Even better, Tigger suggested that himself and Pooh should go play Pooh Sticks. If anyone ever asks you to play Pooh Sticks, just say no. He smiled slyly as an idea formed in his overactive brain, and agreed. What an opportunity, he whispered to himself as he followed the innocent Tigger to the bridge. Once on the bridge, the rather pointless game of Pooh Sticks was underway. Pooh thought he'd much rather push his stick up Tigger's ass rather than throwing it into the stream. Tigger was leaning over the side of the bridge looking for his stick, and he did not see He did not see Pooh's wide, horrific grin as he outstretched his arms and moved towards Tigger with the intent of pushing this stupid cat into the stream. They hate water. He'll drown. There's a loud splash. Tigger hit the water and started to struggle. His head was covered by water. He gulped and choked, and Pooh was holding onto the rail of the bridge, jumping up and down with excitement and joyously shouting at the drowning tiger. "Why?" sputtered Tigger as he slowly started to turn blue with the cold, which Pooh found hysterical. After all, a blue tiger? How absolutely silly. "I'll tell you why, you bastard. It serves you right, hiding behind doors, jumping out and scaring the shit out of people." Tigger did not hear Pooh's answer as he was already floating downstream, face down in the water, dead. "Good riddance," laughed Pooh, and looked at his watch. Still time to get the little dickhead Roo before he wakes up. Wow. Roo sneaked into the sleeping form? Sneaked to see the sleeping form, and left out a word, of Roo's mum and saw his ear poking out of her pouch. "Now I've got you, little git," Pooh thought, smiling as he threaded a needle with extra strong cotton. He was jolly grateful for Piglet's sewing lessons now, because he'd be able to sew Roo up nice and tightly so he would not be able to get out of his Mom's pouch, and she would not be able to rescue him. So very slowly, carefully, he began to sew Roo into the pouch, therefore suffocating the annoying, idiotic twit. After the deed was done, Pooh made his way back to his house, wondering how Roo's mom would take the death of Roo. Badly, he hoped, as he began to cough uncontrollably and felt general nausea overcome him. By the time he got home, he had puked several times and was very desperate for some more of the white solution. He trembled as he picked up the syringe and gave himself the remaining amount. An awfully large amount, one might say, for a little bear. In fact, it was too much, and he died of an overdose. But he died with a smile on his face. He was dreaming that he was the only teddy bear made with a willy, and dreamed how he surprised Eeyore one day. But that's a story for another day. Holy shit. What the fuck, Bubs? Wow. That was dark and weird. But thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Oh, right, I also have a Patreon. That'd be cool, because, $1 helps me mine out more crazy shit like this from the internet. Thanks for that. Okay, bye.